Okay, well listen, welcome everybody to the Achieve One Partner webinar. I really impressed by the number of registrants and the turnout that we had today, and I think that really attests to the fact that, you know, we feel we are one of the fastest growing add-on solutions out there for Business One. So we're going to go ahead and start, and as people join, that's wonderful. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to have everybody on mute initially, and at the end of the webinar, we're going to open it up for general questions, a general Q&A session, again, at the very end. If you do have any questions that you're trying to interject before that, if you would go ahead and just sort of type that in. We have two other panelists that are joining us from Achieve It today, Tim Singleton and David Gutman, and they can monitor those questions, and if anything needs to be interjected, you know, they'll absolutely join in. So let's go ahead and continue. Tim, I'm not seeing the agenda. Oh, here we go. Okay. So the first thing we're going to go through is I'm going to explain a little bit. So we have a pretty good mix of existing partners and a lot of partners out there that are not yet a part of our reseller channel. So we're going to spend a little bit of time and just explain who Achieve It Solutions is, exactly what is Achieve One, and why you should be an Achieve One partner. So we'll have a couple of slides on that. Then we're going to transition into our Sophie demo for the order to cash, which is basically we're going to explain to you why we feel we're going to present a situation as a typical, you know, prospect that you may be going after, and the scenarios that you're going to have to deal with, and we're going to transition that into an order to cash, a quick order to cash demonstration, which is really going to hit upon all the different modules that can go and satisfy the requirements of, again, what we would consider more of a typical prospect that we're all dealing with. After the Sophie demo, I'm going to come back on and we're going to talk about the roadmap for Achieve One. We're going to talk specifically about the SQL roadmap for version 6.0, and also, which I think is very important to let everybody know, is what's going on with our HANA product for Achieve One 6.0. We are currently released in HANA, and we'll go over some of the other roadmap items that are happening down the road. The next thing is we're going to talk about one of our newest products in the Achieve One suite, which is the Achieve Payroll. We'll have Dave Gutman, who's our Achieve One application specialist. He'll be taking you through a very brief, very Reader's Digest version of Achieve Payroll, so you can kind of get an idea of the functionality of that. After Achieve Payroll, we're going to then get into the partner update. What our end-of-year promotions are for this year, which I think are going to benefit all of our current partners and hopefully any of the new partners that are going to be joining us after this. The 2014 new partner program rollout, we do have some changes and things that are going to certainly benefit our partners and how we work together. And then we're going to talk about our sales demonstration training schedule. We're going to define a schedule for getting all of our bronze level partners up to the silver level and sort of what that progression is through. But we're going to talk about what that training schedule is going to be. And finally, we'll go ahead and open it up for a questions and answer session at the end. So let's go ahead. Who is Achieve It Solutions? What is Achieve One? And why should you be an Achieve One partner? Well, Achieve It Solutions, we've been around since 1989, and we are specifically been involved in developing and implementing ERP solutions. We've been sort of in a couple of different forms since then, but overall, especially with Tim Singleton, we've been around since 1989. We are absolutely dedicated to bringing Business One to the next level using our Achieve One product. You can almost call that a mission statement of Achieve It Solution when it comes to Achieve One. And that's something I think is going to be pretty apparent as we go through the rest of the webinar. We are an SAP Business One Gold partner. We have been since our inception with SAP in 2006, but we're also there, quite frankly, we are the developers of the Achieve One. Achieve One is an SAP certified integration product, and you're going to see absolutely the benefits of that integration as we go through the different through the webinar slides today. We have an experienced team of SAP Business One professionals, but I think what's even as important as that is that we're also, the majority of us are business professionals. We have seen many different verticals and are experienced in many different verticals, and I think that makes us a very well-rounded team here at Achieve It. And also, let me talk about some of the recent changes that we've had at Achieve It Solutions. And this is really gearing more towards our dedication on the Achieve One product, being able to support the product, support our partners through this. Is number one, I've been on board with Achieve It Solutions for a couple of years, and I've taken over the role of the product manager. So I kind of oversee everything that happens with the Achieve One product. We've promoted internally Daryl Goodman, who's now our Director of Partner Services. So this is really attesting that our dedication to being able to service the partners. This is a very recent promotion also. So he is basically running the entire development part of Achieve One. As we bless our new developments, our roadmap, Daryl's and his team are responsible for creating at the actual creation of the visions that we have in there. He's also going to be running any of the support services that, of course, we deal with our partners. We have Dave Gutman, again, as I explained before. He's going to be showing you the Achieve payroll system, and he's our Achieve One application specialist amongst many different modules that we have. Andrew Hamilton, who we're very happy to have on board, has taken over our Director of Customer Service, dealing with really our Business One direct customers. But I know that a lot of you already know Andrew out there, and again, we're very happy to have him on board. And we also, Tim and the rest of us have been very busy hiring developers that are dedicated to nothing but the Achieve One product, bringing that product forward on the SQL perspective, and what we're very excited about is, of course, on the HANA perspective. Oh, little graphics there. Okay, so what is Achieve One? Well, Achieve One is a single certified add-on that is tightly integrated into Business One. And really what we say is that we expand on the current functionality of the Business One product. We sort of segregate our modules. By the way, they all work together, hence the puzzle image that you see here. As modules are added to each other, they all immediately work within themselves and amongst themselves, which is fantastic. But if you want to take a look at how we sort of segregate this out internally, we say that we deal with industry-specific modules, such as the Achieve WMS, the Achieve Freight Control, which would be for your UPS, FedEx, carrier integrations. Achieve Containers, which would be allowing you to better manage the importing of your product. Achieve Inventory Control for advanced replenishment methodologies. Achieve Style, which is our item pricing matrix. And Achieve Order Reservations, which allows you to place hard reservations on existing stock or incoming supply. Then the other side of the puzzle really is on the productivity modules, things that will span multiple verticals out there and I think are relevant to just about any customer or prospect that you're going to be dealing with, which would be our Achieve Order to Cash inquiries. And we're going to be doing a little bit of, we're going to do a highlight on that, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. We have our Achieve AR Collections Manager, which is a fantastic tool to help for your customers, your prospects, to have better control over their AR receipts. Achieve Document Delivery, being able to deliver documents to your customers, any of the marketing documents to their customers in the method that they most prefer, email, fax, and print. AR Factor is a typical factoring module. We have our Achieve Credit Card Management, allows you to accept credit card as a payment, as an incoming payment, or directly on a sales order and have it authorized, pre-authorized, and then eventually captured and charged. And the last one would be our Achieve Advanced Pricing. Again, one of our newer modules. And one of the things I want to say about this is we are going to be highlighting the payroll. We are going to be highlighting the order to cash. We are also going to be scheduling another seminar or webinar about 2 weeks after this that are going to highlight the actual individual modules, so we really hope that you all join us for that. Okay, this is basically letting you know that we are fully now certified for version 9.0. We started that process a little while ago, dealing with some of the delays that happen with SAP, but we have satisfied all the requirements and we are now officially certified. Our Achieve One product is officially certified as an integration add-on to Business One. So what does that mean to you? Well, there's a couple of very important things that means to you. You now, with the certification, basically SAP is saying that we are adhering to all the business rules that they put in place to make sure that the add-ons are going to function appropriately with the software. And of course that's extremely important to you, and even more so important with your vendors, to understand that once our product is in there, it is not going to mess up anything in Business One and actually enhances the functionality of it. So this is our, we're sort of patting ourselves on the back for this recent certification for version 9. We have already been certified for, of course, all the 8.8x versions of Business One. Okay, so why should you be an Achieve One partner? Well, honestly, we feel that we're the most comprehensive single add-on solution for Business One. We span multiple verticals. We have solutions that are specific to the verticals. We have solutions, our modules that are run across different verticals, as we talked about with the productivity modules that we have available. The Achieve It solutions, and I want to make sure I emphasize this. This is an absolute goal of ours. We are focused on becoming the global leading SSP for SAP Business One HANA. And actually, hang on, let me just put that down. And excuse me, in Microsoft SQL. That is a goal of ours. Our structure is currently in place, and we'll of course be building upon that. This is one of the steps that we're doing in order to accomplish that. And you'll be hearing a lot more about us going forward. So we really hope that you join us and come along for that ride, especially as early adopters, as we're all are trying to be early adopters of the HANA and sort of ride that wave. We're hoping that you sort of look at the Achieve One product as in the same light. We are developed specifically for SAP Business One using their SDK, which allows us to be certified. And specifically for SAP Business One, that shouldn't be minimized. A lot of the other partner SSPs that are out there, they span multiple ERP systems. So you really sort of have to wonder what is their expertise specifically in SAP Business One. Well, with us, there's no doubt there. We are a gold partner, of course, with Business One, and we understand it. It's the only thing that we do, and our software is developed only for SAP Business One. We have a fully staffed department dedicated solely to our product, Achieve One. Our structured partner program. This is not an ad hoc thing for us. We have a very structured partner program. We will be getting into that. And these partner programs, once you see, they're going to be able to generate higher margins for you, allow you to maybe go beyond your current area of marketing, be able to expand into other verticals, and be able to achieve higher margins. We're responsive. We're knowledgeable. We respond to our partners. The partners that we are currently working with, I believe, can absolutely attest to that. And we understand not only Business One, but how it relates to the businesses of the customers that you're currently dealing with and the prospects that you're currently dealing with. We have an absolutely defined roadmap with timely release schedules. And one of the things that we can attest to that is when Business One version 9 came out, I believe it was within 3 days our Achieve One for our very first release of Achieve One for version 9 was available. And that's something that we're very proud of, and that's something that we will continue to do as new patch levels and new versions of Business One come out. We are absolutely committed to our partner relationships, and let me expand a little bit upon that. When we have a reseller relationship with a partner, that's extremely important to us, and more personally, that's extremely important to me. I'm usually your first line as we're getting into this relationship. And one of the things that I want to make sure that everybody understands is your customers are your customers. As a partner, you are our customer. We are not going to go after your customers. I know some of the SSPs out there, they can't necessarily say the same thing. Not just beyond our product delineation, we feel that that commitment to you, our partner, is a further delineation of one of the reasons you should work with us and our add-on. And of course, we are, excuse me, with our software being a certified single add-on from what we feel are very highly skilled partners spanning multiple verticals. I think we're going to show you in a little bit how that's going to very much benefit the relationships you're going to have with your prospects and eventually with your customers. So let's take a look at what we would consider a very typical or a typical distribution prospect that you're dealing with. This is going to be Big Bang Apparel. They're a $250 million a year company. They're a wholesale distributor and an importer of safety equipment and apparel. And they have what we would consider fairly typical requirements for a wholesale distributor. They would use 75 SAP Business One users. Nice user count there. So HANA is certainly a possibility, so you don't want to limit yourself as to what's available. Their requirements are WMS, certainly, UPS with FedEx integration, EDI, containers, an apparel module. They want to be able to have better control over their inventory, so advanced inventory replenishment's absolutely integral. Integrated email, fax. They're going to want to be able to do hard allocations and credit cards. Very typical for a wholesale distributor. So let's take a look at what that proposal would look like without the Achieve One module. Well, take a look at how many add-ons would have to be running in order to satisfy all of that. Who's going to support, excuse me, who does the customer contact for support on all of these? You have multiple vendors involved here. And let's face it, we know what happens when you have multiple vendors involved. You have the blame game going on. That doesn't work for anybody, and it certainly has a negative impact on the customer. How many EULAs are we dealing with here, right? Additional hardware requirements beyond what's required just for Business One. What are the other hardware requirements, especially for things like the WMS, having third-party WMS available? SQL licensing, that's of course going to be an issue and an added cost. SSP knowledge, we already talked about some of the SSPs that are out there are dealing with multiple ERP systems. So really, where is their focus and what is the knowledge level on Business One? The integration gaps between each one of these modules. If you're going to have WMS and freight control, for example, UPS and FedEx integration, shouldn't they talk to each other? Doesn't one feed the other? In many of these scenarios, these integrations are just not available to you. And really what's important to the customer, who owns the data in this sense? Let's take a look at what happens when the Achieve One add-on is available for this particular prospect. Container management, Achieve Container Management. WMS, we have the WMS, the credit card, the EDI. So how many add-ons are running? There's only one. Who does the customer contact for support? They're going to contact the partner, number one, and then the partner has the ability to contact Achieve It Solutions for second-level support if that's what they're looking for. How many EULAs? It's just one that has to be maintained. Additional hardware requirements. Well, for WMS, of course, there's going to be scanners. No other hardware requirements. Okay, we're inside of Business One, in the same infrastructure, in the same architecture. There's no additional requirements from a hardware perspective. SQL licensing. We utilize the SAP Business One SQL licenses and then, of course, the HANA licenses. No SQL licensing, no additional cost there. What is native for SAP Business One? It all is, right? Nothing because it is an add-on, an absolutely integrated add-on, it is now considered part of Business One once it's thrown in, okay? The SSP knowledge of Business One, as we told you before, it's our only product. We are a Business One Gold level partner. Integration gaps. Not only are there no integration gaps, the tightness of integration now, not only with Achieve One and Business One, but with Achieve One modules amongst themselves. And that's something that we're going to be able to show you a piece of that with the order to cash. And who owns the data? Well, of course, who owns the data? Customer owns the data. They should always own the data. There's no question about that. All right, so here's another scenario. So let's say you've taken it down the sales cycle with Big Bang Apparel, and the CEO, Sheldon, basically just let you know that now he wants to have all of this in HANA. He wants the WMS and the freight control and the credit cards. He wants that all in HANA. Well, which SSP is ready for that? I guess I have to say Bazinga. I'll go ahead and say Bazinga. Well, we are ready and available for HANA. So right now, for all of those products, we are the only SSP that is already HANA ready in many of those modules, and we'll talk about the roadmap going forward. So at this point, based on what we already talked about, we want to be able to show you our Achieve Order to Cash. It's going to be a very quick demonstration, but what it does, it's going to demonstrate, based on the story that we just told about Big Bang Apparel, how all of this is actually integrated. From one module, you're going to be able to have access, integration, and functionality amongst all the other modules, not only within Achieve One, but how they relate back to Business One. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn that over to Tim Singleton, who's going to take you through basically starting every demonstration with Achieve Order to Cash to really highlight that tightness of integration. Tim? Yep.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. All right. Thanks, Craig, and great job, and good afternoon, everyone. And again, thank you for attending our webinar. Let me jump over into Achieve One and Business Business One 9.0 with Achieve One 6.0 running. And what you'll see here is that we have 3 inquiry screens that will give you greater visibility into all aspects of an order from a customer, vendor, or item related. Now, we call this SOFI 2.0 because we all remember in the early days we had the SOFI demo, which was the initial overview demo of SAP Business One. As we've developed this Achieve Order to Cash, you know, our partners and our direct salespeople really more and more said they started their demonstration in Achieve Order to Cash, and it really gave the customer a true 360-degree view of their business. And some of these presentations wound up being 45 minutes or so inside of Order to Cash going into all of the other transactions. So it's a great module to start off with to show your customers the depth of Business One with Achieve One. So let me start off by going into the Achieve Order to Cash customer inquiry. And you'll see that with the model that we have in place here, the top section is a filter that will populate data in the grid below. So this screen, when we're presenting Business One and Achieve One together, this screen is useful for the sales department, people in operations and logistics, customer service, management. So it's a powerful screen that we are going to even continue to expand on, which I'll get into in a moment. So right now I am looking inside of the quotes, all of the open quotes for my company, because I have no filters on here by warehouse or any other parameter. So currently my company has $312,000 worth of open quotes. I can use the filter. So let's say it's 6 months from when we close the sale, and Sheldon wants to look at all of his open quotes. And I'm looking currently at Sheldon's open quotes for $234,000. I could further go down by date range if I'm on the phone with one specific customer. So we're looking at Port Jeff Industrial, specifically for Sheldon as a salesperson. There's $155,000 worth of open quotes. So you'll see that here. And you're also getting into showing the additional functionality of Achieve One. Frankly, when we are demonstrating Achieve Order to Cash, we're not really getting into the fact that it's really 2 applications running together. And to Craig's point earlier, one of the knocks that we all know that our competition tries to put upon us is that Business One is not very comprehensive program, which we know is not true, but often relies on too many add-ons. Having this system and showing all these pieces inside of one program wipes that issue away. And I'll tell you, we have customers that are using Business One that have warehouses that are over 700,000 square feet. We've competed with some of the largest programs out there and have won. So let's go through this some more. I'm looking at all of the open quotes for that one customer for Sheldon. I can now go look at all the open orders for that customer. Now looking into the warehouse with the Achieve WMS add-on, you'll see now that Port Jeff Industrial has $13,000 worth of open orders that are ready to go into the warehouse. If we need to look at, I'm going to turn off the filter to make sure I get some data on all these tabs. So I'm going to look at all customers. So here's all orders that are ready to go to the warehouse. Here's orders that have gone to the warehouse, but we have pending replenishment issues in pick bins. Orders that have been released by the logistics manager, but has not yet started to be picked. Anything that's ready, so it's past all the approval processes. Anything that's currently being picked. Again, I don't have the handheld scanner here, but as things are being picked, you can see if they've been picked, if they're in a repackaging stage, if they're in the freight control. Again, as Craig mentioned, it's really all one code set and add-on. So if you are using the freight control and somebody's picking and somebody's packing at the UPS station, you'll get visibility into that. if orders have been parked, so they've been temporarily suspended for whatever reason, and orders that have been completed. Moving on, if you have our EDI, you're getting visibility into all of the EDI transactions open and closed. So let me look at all the 850s, 855. It's so easy to demonstrate this, and you're not having people on the phone, different interfaces, not knowing your prospect's requirements, saying something that they shouldn't, etc. So going in here, we have the EDI information. Freight control can be run without WMS. And you'll notice here that I'm looking at all the orders that are kind of within the freight control system. And over here to the right, you'll see some additional statuses. So I may want to look at all of the orders that are within freight control that are packed and ready to ship. May also want to look at just all the orders that are going to be going out UPS because they said that the truck's coming in half an hour, and maybe we want to make sure these orders are picked so we can fill a truck. So you're getting some pretty fast filters here, and this is the SQL version. This is not our HANA version. Going through, I won't go through the rest of the SAP transactions since we're all partners and we know what those transactions are, but we're going to start from the quote, and we're going to go all the way through incoming payments. So if we are talking to someone in AR and they want, or an AP from a customer side, and we need to talk about a payment, we get that information. So we are getting that whole cycle. We've added in other SAP transactions to get you visibility to activities, sales opportunities, blanket agreements, and if you're using the service module and all the priorities. So again, starting the presentation here, you're really providing a lot of good information to your prospect about the depth of Business One and Achieve One. A few final things to finish up here on the customer inquiry. You'll also notice that if you're working on a particular customer, let's say I'd like to do a new order for microchips, by highlighting the row and selecting the specific tab, if I hit New Document, it's going to pass through the customer. Oops, I double-clicked. It's going to pass through the customer and the transaction that I have had the tab on. So this way you can start an order from here. A few other things that you have available if you are using some of our other modules. If you are looking at a customer and maybe there is some past due situations, you could look to see if there's a collection tracking incident document open. So the customer could be past due, and you may want to look at why they're past due, and if you're using AR collections, you get that information right here. You could then pull up the aging, you could email, print, or fax the invoices from here. So it's really flowing very well. Customer said they didn't get their invoices, you hit deliver, and email goes out with the invoices or statements. I'm going to finish up quickly going into the vendor. The vendor, again, it's going to be the same thing as a customer. Standard all SAP transactions, and then we include in our containers. So if you do have an importer and you want to look at everything that is on the water, you change the status to shipped. You can look at everything that is on the water by vendor, by product, etc. You get your EDI transactions, and again, the standard SAP transactions along the way. Finally, on the item level, you're demonstrating from an item perspective everything I just showed you related to sales and purchasing. So really the item is going to be the most important record there. But I can show item customer, item vendor, so all the sales transactions, purchasing transactions, inventory transfers, and production orders. So we do spruce out the production a little bit to get some information if you want to see everything that's been planned or released, whatever the statuses might be. I didn't mention earlier, which I should have, we are showing open, closed, or both. And you'll see on some of the screens reserved, unreserved, or both. So if you're using our stock reservations module, order reservations, I should say, apologize, and you want to look at all of the orders that have reservations tied to it, and then we have approved or unapproved as part of our collections, you're looking at all of the open orders out there that are tied between a sales order and a purchase order that we have a reservation. We're not going to get into the reservation demonstration today, but as Craig mentioned, we have some upcoming training classes that will get into that. Before I hand it back to Craig, I will share with everyone some development that we're doing that's really going to add a real another nice level of functionality to the order-to-cash system. First, we're going to be developing what we call order-to-cash analysis. It's going to be the same model that you see in front of you, but it's going to be providing sales analysis, purchasing analysis by customer. So you'd have a customer sales analysis, vendor purchasing analysis, item purchasing and sales analysis, and salesperson sales analysis. And then you're going to get different levels of criteria on individual tabs. So what we're developing, if you imagine this is the customer inquiry, customer sales analysis, you'll be able to do a customer by item category, by warehouse, by salesperson, by state. So there'll be approximately 6 to 10 sub-tabs for each one of those categories. That's a module that, or that's a feature of Order to Cash that will be out before the end of the year. As far as HANA is concerned, we just had Ronnie Scott, who's the head of development for our HANA team. She was with SAP in China working on some testing and some development of our program and getting some insight on how to embed the HANA dashboards into our program. So hopefully, hey, there's alerts. Hopefully before the end of the year, what we're going to be adding is the capability to have dashboards embedded here. So frankly, we're going to look to probably cut the screen about here and have HANA dashboards interacting with the data as we move along. Again, we haven't gone into a full design yet as far as how the dashboards would be presented, so they're not too confusing, so we may have another tab. But the plan is to add that hopefully before the end of this year, but definitely by the first quarter. So again, that's the Order to Cash inquiry. If you tie that into your standard, introduction to Business One with the dashboards and the cockpit and so forth, it really gets you off to a good start as far as a presentation. Craig, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Okay.
You with me? Was that fast enough for you?
That was pretty good. Yeah. Well, good. You can hear me, so I don't have to ask that question. That's a good thing. Okay. All right. Well, Tim, thank you for that. And again, I hope you guys really sort of saw the value of that Order to Cash, being able to start all of your demonstrations with that. As Tim mentioned, we, as a sales team, we do that all the time to be able to show the customer that, Business One does have all the components available to you to give you a 360-degree view of their business, but being able to put that all into one, one of three screens that or perspectives that every customer has. They all have customers, they all have vendors, they all have items in one way, shape, or form. So being able to show you that visibility amongst all of those, and then leading into the add-ons, the Achieve One add-ons that are already integrated into that, I think is extremely valuable and has really helped us in our successes. So Tim, thank you for that.
Sure.
So let's talk a little bit about the Achieve One roadmap. Nice little animation. That's good. We're going to go through sort of what we have coming up, are currently available on HANA and SQL, and of course what's coming down the road. In 2013, from now to the end of the year, we have some specific things that we're working on. Of course, the Achieve 160 certification, we get to check that off the list. I'm very happy about that. As Tim mentioned, those Order to Cash analysis from, that's even a word, the analysis from the inventory perspective, from the sales perspective, and from the vendor perspective. We do expect that to have released by the end of the year. We're working very hard on that. The advanced costing and pricing module, we're expanding upon that right now. I don't have a lot of details into that for you as we're kind of still going through what we're able to do in the development, but that's something that we expect to have out. Achieve One for HANA, as far as what's already available for you this year or by the end of this year, the full AR collection suite is going to be available, and especially for those customers that are dealing with, let's say, 5,000 invoices, per week or per month, it's going to come in very handy. AR Factor is going to be available in HANA. The entire credit card suite will be available. Order to Cash, of course, and especially with those that are having large transaction sets, Order to Cash in HANA is going to be extremely valuable. Containers, freight control, the entire inventory management system is going to be available. That's the replenishment methodology. And of course the style or the item matrix, and as Tim mentioned, the HANA dashboards.
And Craig, we've actually completed the coding on all of these. So as far as general availability, collections, factor, freight control, and Order to Cash are available for sale now. The other modules listed have gone into testing. So if all goes well, we're hoping probably Thanksgiving time we'll be able to certify that these have completed testing and they're available for resale.
Excellent, excellent. And then, of course, maybe at our next webinar, where we are going to be highlighting the actual modules, hopefully we'll be able to show you some of those, or as many of these as we can at that time. So that's good to know. So what's going to happen in 2014? Well, in the first couple of quarters, we have already signed up a number of deals through us, some through our partners for WMS. So we will be working very diligently to have WMS fully enabled, and I think the benefit of that is going to be very apparent. Same thing with the reservations. Payroll is currently in SQL, as we said. It's one of our newest modules through an acquisition, and we will be putting that over to HANA. Advanced costing and pricing, of course, the entire EDI system. We're doing some additional modifications or enhancements, to WMS, things that have been asked of us for since I've been on board, quite frankly. And these are actually currently in development, and it's going to take a little bit longer to get these out. But we will have achieved WMS. We're going to incorporate the full license plating scenarios, advanced wave picking, and simultaneous zone picking is going to be available. And I think that those alone are going to put us on, sort of a different level as to where we're currently at right now with WMS, which is already, very functional. But that's coming down the pike, and I know I have spoken to a lot of the partners on the call about that. So that's when we expect that to be available. Our international visibility is just going through the roof right now. So we have already dedicated to provide additional language support. We're currently available for Latin America for Spanish. We'll be looking at some of the other languages where those partners are suggesting that, and getting those incorporated into the first couple of quarters of next year. And of course, additional HANA innovations, and that's something that is going to be, you're going to see that throughout sort of our roadmap, because that's something that we're very dedicated to. The third and the fourth quarter of 2014, we're expanding on the Achieve Payroll to be able to bring in WMS analysis as it relates to sort of the efficiencies of your pickers based on what you're paying them, based on how many picks they're able to do in a particular day. So being able to throw in some extra analysis on there as it relates to WMS integration. And we're going to be able to integrate with ADP. I'm not going to get into a lot of details of that right now. There's a lot of things that we're exploring to be able to provide ADP integration. We feel that having payroll doesn't necessarily mean you have to use the payroll system for everything that's available in our payroll. As we know, ADP is very popular out there, but we are going to be able to give you the integration from an ADP payroll directly into Business One, posting to GL accounts, and maybe Dave can expand a little bit upon that when he gets into his payroll demonstration. Achieve Inventory. We are absolutely planning on getting involved with Inventory Pro. And those of you that aren't familiar with that, it's the ability to provide even more analysis on your inventory levels, on your replenishment, on sort of best case scenarios for stocking levels over periods of time throughout seasonal trendings and other different type of trendings. Inventory Pro is something that we're going to be incorporating into our Achieve Inventory Control program, which is going to greatly expand the options that you have, your customers would have to better control their inventory based on replenishment methodologies. Q3 and Q4, Achieve WMS, we're going to be porting that out for mobile, and also allowing a browser-based handheld device. And WMS Analytics, we're always going to be expanding on analytics throughout the majority of our system. Of course, additional HANA innovations, advanced customer and vendor RMAs. Now, that's something that we understand that is also on the roadmap of Business One, and since we follow that same roadmap of Business One, if they do end up coming out with that, we'll reevaluate what our position is on that. Again, we need to maintain that integration with Business One. So 2015 and beyond, it's always continual development on the Achieve One. We're going to be querying you, the partners who are talking to your customers, and finding out what it is that they're looking for in order to expand our functionality. Of course, we're always going to be expanding the HANA functionality, as that's a big push with SAP. We're going to build upon always build upon existing Business One functionality to be able to extend that, to be able to get you into other markets that maybe you're not necessarily into right now with add-ons that are available. We're going to further enhance that international support. We see that as a large growth area for our company, beyond localizations, but certainly into more of the language and some of the differences between the North American versions. So, and enterprise level functionality to larger customers. We, as SAP Business, as we expect SAP Business One to do, we're going upstream. We fully expect Business One to be able to go upstream and get into sort of the larger enterprise level opportunities, and we're going to make sure that the Achieve One is going to also allow that to happen and provide additional functionality. As Business One goes upstream, Achieve One will also go upstream. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sort of do the same Reader's Digest version that we did with the Achieve Order to Cash system. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dave Gutman. Again, he is our Achieve One application specialist. He has been very intricately involved in the Achieve Payroll module, and he's going to take you through what we expect to be about a 10-minute demonstration of that module. So with that, Dave, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Craig. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Hey, Dave. Hold on a
Yes.
moment. I just got to make you presenter, so this is probably going to be an awkward minute or so, and hopefully I don't mess it up. So I think I need to make you a presenter. And I think you just need to show your screen. Do you have a little box to show your screen there, Davey?
I do.
Okay, you also have to hit the, hang on one second there, Dave. Give me a moment.
Should we talk amongst ourselves, Tim?
No, hold on.
Okay.
I have to hit the mute there. Dave, you still with me?
I am.
Okay. Who do I want to make? Who wants to be a presenter? Dave, you'll be the presenter. Okay. Show your screen one more time, Dave.
Okay, is my screen coming through now?
Yep. Just max out your Business One screen. It's a little small. Okay. Good. All you.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Craig. Brief intro on the payroll module. The payroll module provides robust real-time integration with the SAP Business One banking, human resources, and general ledger modules. Payrolls managed by exception design speeds payroll processing. Optionally, you can import your timesheets from external sources such as time clocks, time tracking systems, and as Craig alluded to, as we move forward, we'll expand upon that within the Achieve One family. The system enables important HR benefits such as direct deposit, 401k plans, and paid time off tracking. Achieve One Payroll begins with the Business One Employee Master. So here we have a typical employee in Business One.
Hey, Dave, could you maximize that screen a little bit too? I just think our font resolution is a little bit different. There you go.
How's that? Is that better?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, great. And so you access the payroll information by going ahead and hitting the payroll information button. This brings up the payroll attributes for each employee. And then let's see if we can maximize that. Okay. These attributes include a range of controls over how this employee processes. For example, is this employee a member of the confidential payroll group? If so, then their payroll would be run in a secured private mode where only selected people can actually do the payroll processing. An employee's status could be active, inactive, maybe they're on leave or soon to come back, and they might be terminated. In all cases, their payroll history is preserved. Employees could be salaried, hourly, or in the case of integration with, say, shop floor control tracking, or as we move forward, tools like the WMS information, we may be getting our piecework information directly from other modules. The system supports all of the standard pay period sequences that you would expect. Most of the people we've worked with typically do monthly and semi-monthly payrolls. The system also is going to give you options for direct deposit or printing paper checks via SAP Business One's checks for payment. If we set up direct deposit, then we go back to the employee master on the finance tab and we get their banking information. Paid time off is updated as each employee uses their earned vacation and sick time. The cost center capability lets us set up groupings of user-defined categories for financial analysis. So for example, in this world we've divided our cost centers by administrative employees and field staff. We might set up divisions by geography or lines of business. In each case, our general ledger postings are going to be controlled or indicated by the cost center. Withholding tax is managed at the federal, state, and local levels. You define only the applicable jurisdictions, then you specify the employee's filing status for each type of tax, number of exemptions, and any additional amounts you wish to withhold. Finally, history is tracked for all earnings types on a quarterly and annual basis. There are global definitions for earnings, deductions, and taxes. They're established and maintained as the benefits and work rules of the organization change. Each one of these can then be applied to each or any employee. We'll take a look as an example of the deductions that are withheld for this employee. In this case, this employee has several deductions. Health savings accounts is the one we'll take a look at. Here we indicate the amount per pay period that this employee is having deducted, the total limit. Once we reach that limit, we'll shut off the deduction, and finally the lifetime accumulation of this deduction. Some deductions are defined as amounts like this one. Others can be defined as percentages, and of course that will impact the way this screen renders. The setup of other earnings such as overtime, commissions, and bonuses work the same as these deductions. Simply define the global earnings code and then apply them to each employee as appropriate. Now let's go ahead and run a payroll. We'll start by determining if the payroll is a classified payroll run or a standard payroll. Classified payroll is going to allow separate payroll processing for employees who are marked as confidential. So you do this for the executives, for example. The payroll run and classified payroll runs are identical. The separate menu system allows us to control which team members actually perform the classified run. We'll use a standard payroll run for this example. We start off by defining our payroll variables for this pay period. So in this case, we're going to do a monthly payroll run, and we're going to start that on we're going to mark the period ending as of November 30th, and the check date will be the 5th. We'll put in our standard hours of 173 hours. What does that mean? That provides the default number of hours worked for our hourly employees. The salary people always get their time cards generated at standard rate. The hourly people will use the standard hours as their default. So if most of your hourly people work the same number of hours, then you only handle the exceptions. Optionally, we can set up a default number of overtime hours if that's applicable. In our case, we're just going to go ahead and update our system for this simple pay run. The next step is to something called generate transactions. This goes ahead and it lets us indicate which employees are going to be included in the pay cycle, and it will perform the gross to net calculations. We can go ahead and use the uncheck and check all options as well as individual selections if we need more control over who's to be included in the pay run. We'll go ahead and generate the transactions right now, and again, our gross to net calculations just performed for our payroll run. If we want, we can at any point add additional transactions or additional employees to our payroll run manually if we need to. We can also use the import transaction data to bring data in from external sources. So if we have a time tracking system or maybe other types of tracking equipment, we'll use this import transaction data to bring that into our timesheets. Exception entry is the final step in the pay cycle, the final data entry step. Exceptions might include manual entry of overtime, pay, bonuses, one-time or occasional deductions, entry of vacation, sick, and holiday time. We'll go ahead and select an employee here who has an exception. And we'll enter exceptions when we want to adjust hours and earnings, when we want to add one-time deductions and recompute taxes based on all the changes. So we have a few changes we have to make on this. We have a few changes we need to make for this employee. The employee requested that her 401k contribution be cut out this period, so we'll simply select it and delete the line. The employee also wound up performing administrative work this month instead of a normal work in the field. We need to make sure that posts correctly, so we'll change the cost center so the GL posting is correct for this employee. Finally, this employee got a Christmas bonus this pay period, and so we'll record that as well. We then go and click Recalculate Taxes, and you'll watch the tax numbers in the top automatically regenerate based on the information we just entered. With the exceptions entered, we'll go ahead and update our payroll. The Update the Payroll function generates the SAP Business One checks for payment for those employees who receive printed checks. It also generates a direct deposit file for those employees who are going to receive direct deposit. This generates the GL journals for the pay cycle. It includes all the accrual postings for deductions and tax withholding, the expense posting for earnings, as well as the cash postings for the net pay. It updates the quarterly and annual history for earnings, deductions, and taxes. It basically closes out the pay cycle. When we're done with that, finally, the people who will be running these payrolls will want to run a variety of reports. So there's a wealth of reports including the pay summary and journals for each pay cycle, the current year employee totals report, the history and earnings and hours report, the year-to-date sick and vacation summary, and your quarterly 941 reporting, electronic and paper W-2 forms. And that is the 10-minute wrap on payroll. I hope you guys liked what you saw and look forward to working with you all on it.
Thanks, Dave. Craig, I'm going to bounce it back to you.
Okay. Well, I think you just made me presenter, and I don't want to show my screen.
I think it show you. Can you see mine?
No.
Okay. Let me. So far, we've done pretty well. So let me go back here. Okay. So
Okay.
All right. Let me go back to PowerPoint. Oh man! Right from the beginning. Sorry about that, buddy.
That's all right. That's all right.
Gotta love Sheldon. All right. And
One more, right?
yep.
All right, great, great. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sort of wrap this up and talk about, well, first of all, end-of-year promotions. We're going to talk a little bit about how to become a partner of Achieve One, and then, of course, we'll go into what we're planning on for the training schedule for existing Achieve One partners to get them up to the next level. So the first thing is the promotion that we're putting on for this year. That basically it had already started in I believe it was October, is maybe when we rolled this out. But let's kind of get into this for the rest of the rest of the people on board. So with any Achieve One module that would be purchased on your behalf or on your customer's behalf, you're going to receive the order to cash module. Again, because we feel there's tremendous value and tremendous benefit in that, we're more than happy to give that away with any additional purchase. We really feel that that's going to really enhance the relationship. A couple of caveats with this, though. Number one, of course, the partner would have already had to have been an Achieve One reseller. So any of you out there considering this, let's go ahead and get that in the mix. We'll talk about how we do that in just a second. The customer must agree to pay for the AMF. Based on the list price of order to cash. So the module itself is going to be free, but we do want them to stay current on AMF. We believe that's important, especially for the fast and furious patch levels that are coming out right now for Business One. That's going to be very important. The customer must also agree to pay for the implementation services. Don't fret too much on that. Implementation services for order to cash is pretty small, quite frankly. There's really not a lot involved in doing that. And of course, all orders must be placed and paid for by the end of this year. So that's really the only caveats in that end of your promotion. So we hope we can get you guys going on that. So again, any module purchased from us, you're going to automatically, your customers will automatically receive that order to cash module. But please be aware of the details associated with that.
Hey, Craig, just two things I want to mention. This is also for HANA. So if you do want to have this for HANA, for Business One 9.0 for HANA, the same promotion applies. And one point of clarification too, when I did the demonstration of the order to cash that was showing the warehousing and the EDI and the freight control. All of those modules are extra. So if you don't have those modules licensed, the tabs just don't appear. So I don't want anyone to get confused that you're going to get free warehousing and freight control and everything else. It's the 3 inquiry screens that really make up order to cash that give you the visibility into those transactions.
Great. Thanks, Tim.
Yep. Oops. Go.
Yeah, next one. Okay. So how do you become an Achieve One reseller? First things first. Please go ahead and contact me either via my email or my direct line. And if you go to the Achieve website, you'll be able to get all the contact information for us right there. And what's going to happen is you're going to request an Achieve One partner packet. In that partner packet, there's going to be the Achieve One reseller agreement that we require you to go through an execution. So you would sign it, return, we'll go ahead and countersign, and we'll make you an official partner. Once that the reseller agreement has been executed, you are immediately at the bronze level. And we're going to go through the levels in just a second here. But with that bronze level, you're going to receive the pricing worksheet for that bronze level. So everything included in there. And I'll take you through on how that pricing worksheet functions, so that as you're quoting deals with your customers or any prospects, basically you fill out that worksheet for that particular prospect. With the modules they're looking for, it has the estimated services already on there based on the level of complexity. Any user counts for WMS, for example, that we need. So everything is on there, and I'm happy to walk you through that once we have the reseller agreement executed. Then what happens is I'm going to ask you to take a screenshot of one of the computers that you're going to use to demonstrate the product. You're going to ask you for a screenshot of the About Help screen of the SBO system, and we're going to create or package the entire Achieve One add-on for you, specific to that machine. That's going to give you the ability, number one, to go through the sales training so you can learn the product, with my help, and then also on your own. And it's a fully working copy of the system at whatever the current patch level and build level is that we're releasing. So that's going to be the tool that you're going to be able to use to go out and demonstrate the product. And then finally, you're going to receive all of our current marketing PDFs that you can share with your customers and your prospects. And we'll keep that updated as we release new features. We'll also have all of the user manuals that are available for every one of the modules. We do have published user manuals for each module that's available in the Achieve One suite. So let's go ahead and talk about the different reselling levels that we have available to you. So we follow the same sort of scenario that SAP does. So we have our bronze reseller, our silver reseller, and our gold reseller. So let's talk about what each one of those entail. At the bronze reseller level, the partner, us, we're demonstrating the product to the prospect with, under your auspice or with you, however you want to do that. And we also will implement. At this level, you haven't been trained yet on doing the demonstrations. You're probably not, really up to speed on doing those demonstrations. So we're the ones that are going to be doing the demonstrations for you and of course doing the implementation, since technical certification hasn't been applied at this point. At this level, you receive 20% off of the list price and 15% off of AMF, the list price of AMF. But what we also are going to do, one of the things that are changing for 2014 is that we do want you to sort of mention Achieve One on your website, to help you promote the product and help us promote the product. And once we're able to verify that you do have Achieve One listed on your website, we're immediately going to bump you up an extra 5% off of the module price for that particular level. Because we do have to do the services, we give you a reduced rate on the services, the implementation and training services that you would ask us to provide. That's going to be at $166 per hour. And then also at the bronze reseller level, we are going to, quite frankly, we want to sort of push you into getting up to the silver and then eventually the gold reseller level. So with that is what we're saying is that within 6 months of becoming a certified reseller, we're going to have the training facilities available for you to get you to be able to demonstrate the product effectively with value propositions, demonstrating to KPIs that the customers are looking for using our software. And we need to be able to get you to that within 6 months so we can get you right to the next reseller level, which is the silver. What's nice about the silver reseller level is that, of course, we're bumping up your margin. And again, we do want you to recognize Achieve One on your website, so you'll get the additional 5% off of that margin. But at this level, you have demonstrated that you have proficiency to demonstrate the product to your prospects. At this level, you have not yet gone through technical training and implementation training of the product. So usually at this level, we still are involved in implementation. And to that end, we also substantially reduce the services at the silver reseller level to $150 per hour. Okay. And then one of our top reseller levels is the gold reseller. At this level, you have been trained not only to do the demos, you've also been technically trained on how to install the software, how to implement the software, and to be able to train the customer or prospect on the effective use of the software. And of course, you're going to be able to realize what even SAP has the same sort of level. Initially, it's 45% off list, still the 15% off AMF, but simply keep us mentioned on your website, and you'll be able to get right up to a 50% margin at the gold reseller level. Should you require any of our services, if you request our services for implementation, we have another substantially reduced rate down to $145 an hour. But quite frankly, we would hope by this time you and your technical staff are comfortable enough and proficient enough to be able to go through the installation, implementation, and training, where we're really just acting as a software vendor at that point. And that's our goal for everybody, and we really want to get everybody, as many as we can up to that level as quickly as possible. So,
I think we messed up on those flash, whatever, go ahead.
Yeah, the animations?
Yeah.
That's okay. All right, and then we'll end with this. So beginning in January 2014, we're going to be scheduling our sales demo certification. So what that means is, number one, for anybody that has signed up as a bronze reseller, upon completion of the sales demo certification, you're immediately up to the silver reseller, so you can achieve those higher margins right off the bat. Okay, we're going to demonstrate to you how to present each module to the prospect, to the customer, based on what we would consider typical value selling, and of course requirement selling. And we're not going to do anything more than probably what you're doing now, but we're going to show you how to demonstrate, not only understand the product, but where it fits within the market that you're going after. So it is fairly comprehensive. you're going to be able to, you'll have certainly an in-depth understanding of the function of each module from a demonstration perspective. At this level, we're not expecting you to know everything about the module, per se, because we're here to support you in the background and always will be, and we want to make sure that you understand that you can count on us for that. But we want to at least allow you to have the understanding from a demonstration perspective to be able to achieve that level. It is a required training to become a silver and then eventually a gold reseller level. And what I'm going to do is by the, and certainly sooner than this, I hope, but by the middle of December, I will be notifying all interested parties of the schedule. And what we're going to do is we're going to have, via GoToMeeting sessions, we're going to take 1 or 2 of the modules at a time and go through comprehensive demonstration training. It's interactive. It's not something that I want to just sit there and just sort of go through a script and demonstrate the product to you. It's not a demonstration to you. It's you understanding how to demonstrate the product to your customer, and that's very important that you're able to leave with that information. So that's really the purpose of doing this, is that we're going to be we're going to be training you on how to do the demonstration to your prospects. So again, we'll be doing it during a go-to-session meeting. Your registration will be required, as we do have limited number of seats, and we found out today that maybe we need to up our GoToMeeting subscription, because we pretty much maxed out with the number of people that could come today, which, by the way, we're thrilled with. So with that said, number one, thank you for everyone that has stayed through this. We hope you received some valuable information about it, understanding where we're going, where we are with our product, where we're headed with our product, the commitment level that we have not only to our product, to SAP Business One, but also to our partners. That's very important for me, that you guys understand that we're very committed to this and committed to you. To help you grow your businesses. So with that, let's go, Tim, if you could go ahead and unmute, and we'll open it up for any questions, and we'll do our best to answer them.
All right, let me get that, and mute all. It's not letting me unmute them all. Let's see here. Craig, it's actually not letting me unmute it. Wish it would, but it won't. All right, you know what I'm going to do? Hey, Craig, can you hear me all right? Craig? Okay. Hey, Dave, text me if you can hear me. I think we're trying to... Bear with me one more minute, and we actually have a few more minutes, so I'll let me just try to get. Okay, so Dave said he can hear us. I can't unmute you guys, so my bad, as they say. So I'm going to read off a few questions that came in, and I'll get you the answers on that. God, I should get in the computer industry. I should know this stuff. One of them was asking about level 2 support. We definitely, we're here to support the partners. So we have the infrastructure to support all of the modules directly ourselves. You call us, we handle the questions. Right now, we're answering a lot of the direct customers' questions for the partners, as partners are getting up to speed on the product. So we have the teams in place. Frankly, our objective is to get the partners educated on the product as quickly as possible. It's in your best interest, but frankly, it's in our best interest to get you self-sufficient in Achieve One. The demonstrations go better, the implementation projects go better, support everything. It should be very similar to SAP. You're all self-sufficient in SAP. Your teams should be able to get self-sufficient inside of Achieve One rather quickly, and we have the teams and the desire to get you there. We have a partner in from Australia this week that's going through certification training so that they can represent it and basically take the product end to end, starting with WMS in Australia. So this is something that we really encourage and really want the partners to do, again, for both of our interests. I will, if there's anyone does have any questions, you can put it in the chat box. Someone asked how tightly is payroll integrated. Was this the former Carolina Cipher? It was the former Carolina Cipher. One reason I made the acquisition is because, again, they did build it very similar to the methodology that we develop our Achieve One modules, which is using the SDK, using the user-defined tables and fields. So it was a good fit for us. And yes, it is the old Carolina Cipher. We've kind of cleaned it up and put it into our library, so it is enabled with the rest of the Achieve One suite and part of our Safe Source and all those things. So it is the Carolina Cipher. I saw another question related to the payroll in Canada. I see Dave jumped off, so I'll get an answer from Dave. Honestly, I don't know if it is available for Canada, so I will find out about that. And let me see, we have a few more questions. If anyone, again, does have any other questions, put it in that box and I'll answer it. Some people join late, that's fine. Okay, a lot of questions on payroll. So definitely with the payroll, we'll try to have Dave have a specific session on payroll, and he can get through the functionality a little bit more detailed. And I'll also follow up and have Dave respond related to Canada or any other countries for payroll. Okay, we do have a few more minutes, so I'm going to actually take this opportunity. If people are still on the line, we actually had a total of 54 people for the webinar. We're down to about 20 now, which is still fine. But it shows you the interest in the product, and really, I hope as a business owner and even executives that are on this phone call, that you really take a good hard look at bringing our product on board. The fact that we started off as a reseller and not a developer, I think is more of an advantage than a disadvantage. We understand the dilemmas that the partners go through by having to represent multiple VAR solutions, and right from the beginning, we did not like that model, and we don't think that's a profitable model because of all the overhead costs that we incurred for developing solutions and fixes and talking to all the different partners. And it's not a knock on those partners because they're all terrific, I believe, on their own. So we are focused on this. We're focused on Business One. We used to be an Infor partner. We no longer are even involved with it. So we're focused on Business One and Achieve One, and we're going to continue to develop these products and really, as mentioned, my goal is to be the global leading partner for Business One, for HANA, and for SQL. That's my objective, and I know we're going to get there, and we really need good partners to get there. I will share with you guys, when we are direct in the New York area, we are in some rather large opportunities, not even with HANA, even without HANA so far, we're in some very large opportunities because we can present the whole solution. You can get to the same point, and as SAP continues this whole large enterprise push, if I have partners that are throughout the United States and globally that can service my products, then we're going to line up and do some real large projects together. We are working with a partner overseas for a few thousand users through a large distribution network that really feels our solution is a great fit for them.